Hey, so the topic of this video, right off the bat, totally have to admit, I am completely lifting it off a question that was put on the forum because I almost forgot to make a video today because my life is insane, and also I'm sure that my makeup is crazy because I went, oh, I gotta do this really fast, and just threw stuff on my face, and I bet I look like some kind of whacked out goth princess. Actually, that's a massive insult because generally, if you look up goth people online, then they're some of the most amazing makeup people, like Black Friday, for instance, goth princess. Wow. Talk about goals as far as makeup. Anyway, I sound like an idiot. I'm really sorry about that. So, the topic today, again, completely lifted off the forum, and my hair is crazy, and I need to stop focusing on this, is how many people know about your diagnosis. And the supposition was very, very few. And I think that that would make sense if you're sort of out in the world. I am not. My people, okay, I know this sounds so pathetic. I'm really sorry that I sound like ridiculously pathetic. I am ridiculously pathetic. I really do not interact with people. I don't, like, even my family. I have sort of mandatory cat, sorry. Oh, a cat that's crying. Anyway, I have mandatory family sort of. Do you hear that? That's my cat scratching at the window to come inside. And I don't blame him because it's damn cold out. Anyway, I have mandatory family parties I'm supposed to go to twice a year, but I avoid one. So I usually go once a year. Other than that, in real life, there's my son, my mother, to very limited amount my father, and literally everybody else that I interact with, I pay. Now, because I pay them, and because they are, therapists, social workers, doctors, etc., I mean, it really, they need to know in order to interact with me, in order to do their best work. So therefore, how many people know about my diagnosis that are actually interacting in my life? A lot. Most. As far as people who I interact with on at least a monthly basis, who I say more than, thank you, and yes, here's the extra 7 cents when I pay for whatever. Everybody. Because I just don't interact with a lot of people. So here's the breakdown. My immediate family. Yes, my son knows about my diagnosis. My mother knows about my diagnosis. My father knows about my diagnosis. It really doesn't, do anything to them. They don't care. Obviously, my son, it's so that he understands why I do what I do. As far as my parents, somebody asked me if I blame my parents. Do I blame my parents for my personality disorder? Really, truly? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. They are the ones who did the trigger. The trigger is the abuse, the chronic emotional child abuse that causes the personality disorder to come into effect. Now, you also have to have this genetic predisposition. Now, I'm not saying, they're the ones just because You know, they're the ones who screwed each other, and that's what caused me to be born, and therefore I have these genetics. That's not the blame I'm playing on them. I mean, things like, they thought it was really cute when I was little. I was having seizures, and they thought, oh my God, let's, you know, put her on this seizure medicine and then give her like beer and see how she reacts. And oh my God, it's hilarious. She's so drunk as a toddler. Yeah. I blame them for giving me my personality disorder. Do I blame them for how I've reacted since I'm an adult, especially since I know about my personality disorder? No. Because at that point, I, you know, first of all, I'm an adult, and I have choices that I can make. Now, granted, they're limited, they're really hard, I can still do them. So, they don't have control over me as an adult. I bet this is a really bouncy video. I'm really sorry about that. Maybe YouTube will flag it, and they'll make me correct it. I'm really sorry. Maybe listen, don't watch. Anyway, so yeah, as an adult, they do not control my choices and actions. But are they the ones who made me have avoidant personality disorder? Yes. I mean, as recently as 2 days ago. Now, my parents are divorced. As 2 days ago, my mother was telling me about how my father insisted that we as children, as babies, quote unquote, forced him to physically abuse us. No. No. Cat has gone from the window. I guess he's alright with me out. Or he knows that he's called me. And then I will appear and let him inside. Anyway, so, yeah. So, back to the original question. How many people know? Most of the people that I work with, because it's so difficult to deal with me. I mean, it really is. I don't know how I come across online. People keep watching me. But in real life, I'm incredibly stiff. It's very difficult to deal with me. I am pretty much constantly trying to figure out what is going on with people and reinterpreting what's going on. Apparently, I don't give people a break if they sort of say something wrong. I don't know. It's hard to say. Miscommunication. See, the thing is that it's then pushed back on me. It's a miscommunication. Eventually, they'll admit that what they said is what they feel, and they still think that way. But when I call them out on it, it's a miscommunication. So, the fact that I do stuff like that and pay attention, watch for being judged, call people out on it. I call people out on it. I know that's probably not the normal behavior. I don't call people out immediately. That would be so great. If I could do that. If I could say, listen, you just said this thing, and you're a total asshole. How dare you say that to me? If I could just say that, instead of having to really say, oh my God, did they really say that? Oh my God, they really said that. And those are the words they used, and this is what they mean. And, I mean, it's vile, but it's true that I will, like, literally pull out a dictionary and say, what is the meaning of this word? Because, God, this is what I think it means. It's really bad. How dare they say something like that to me? And then look in the dictionary, and sure enough, yes, I was right. Oh my God, they really did say that. And I don't know, maybe they didn't mean it, but they said that. And then it sort of seeps in your head. Because again, with avoidant personality disorder, what happens is, okay, this is not official. This is what I think happens, is that we have extra sticky neural pathways And so once you sort of think something, it sort of gets stuck there, and then you keep thinking it, and you can't get rid of it. Once it's in, you can't get rid of it. So, yeah, so it would be really nice if I could actually have the guts to confront somebody and say, hey, God, how dare you say something like that to me? And instead, before I can do that, I have to actually really back myself up and say, is this true? Wait, what? My interpretation, is that accurate? What? And then at that point, there really is no way that they can sort of squirrel out of it and say, oh, I didn't really mean that. I meant this something, blah, 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 blah. It was a quote-unquote miscommunication. I hear that a lot. I really do not like hearing that. It was just a miscommunication. Okay, so we'll like drop it and go forward. Well, I can't do that. And the reason why I tell everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people, basically, if there's anybody I work with on a professional level, which is 90% of the people that I interact with, I definitely tell them that I have avoidant personality disorder. And the point of that is so that they can understand that they have to take that into account when they interact with me. And that I'm on the alert always of being judged, and I can't tolerate it. And that will destroy any sort of relationship, either personal or definitely, working relationship. If I feel like they're being if I feel like they're being judgmental, which everybody always is. So my point is, with these people, when I explain to them, hey, this is my diagnosis, it's not really an excuse, but it is at the same time. It's not an excuse, it's an explanation. Why do I do what I do? Why do I actually take people at their word? Why do I take it personally when they say some stupid thing that they insist, oh, I meant this other thing? Normal people probably would be like totally dismissive of any kind of stupid thing that was said, because they're used to that. I am avoidant, and therefore I'm looking for judgment. I can't tolerate judgment. I assume it's there, and it kills me. And that can be a major, giant, huge stumbling block, because people think that you're going to behave normally. I understand that if you judge them, it's not like a one-off dumb thing that people are going to forget about. Usually, my understanding of the general populace, usually you have to basically nail somebody for being a jerk about 26 times before it finally sinks in that they're like, oh, they're onto me. Whereas an avoidant person, you don't even have to come right out and say it. I mean, you can do it with body language and with, a look, etc. And then they'll realize, oh, you're being judgmental of me, that you do not approve, since the other people do not understand. So the reason I tell people so much about my diagnosis, which is probably stupid of me, I'll tell you right off the bat, is so that they can understand when I get upset by their behavior. Because it is inappropriate. To judge people is not appropriate. To call people out, apparently, to say, hey, you said this. This is the words that you used when you were speaking to me, apparently is bad form and antisocial. And you're supposed to ignore what people say. And I don't, because I'm avoidant. And so I tell people so they can prepare for it.